After personally struggling for several years to quit vaping and to quit using nicotine products in general, I was addicted to vapes, I was addicted to chewing tobacco, I was even addicted to Nicorette gum at one point in my life. And after having thousands of conversations with other people who just can't seem to stop doing something that they no longer want to be doing anymore, aka vaping or smoking cigarettes, I had to ask myself, why is it that so many people are struggling to stop? And the answer actually turns out to be a lot more simple than I thought. And I believe it comes down to a perceived lack of options when it comes to quitting. And when you feel optionless, you feel hopeless. And when you feel hopeless, it's like, well, I might as well just live this way the rest of my life and give up. Further compound that with all the videos online of people talking about how hard it is to quit, how impossible it is, despite the fact that literally hundreds, if not millions of people quit every year. It just makes it all the more daunting. So in today's video, I want to help you guys understand what your options are when it comes to quitting vaping and hopefully shed some insight onto what path might be best for you. Now, if you're new to the channel, in the pinned comment in the video description, I have a free ebook on how to quit smoking and how to quit vaping. So you can check that out at the end of the video if you like my content. All right, so let me give you an example. I would go see my doctor. I would say, look, I want to quit chewing tobacco. I want to quit vaping. And they would say, okay, here's some nicotine gum. Go to the pharmacy, buy some Nicorette, and just use it as directed. And I would do that. I buy Nicorette gum. I'm chewing it, nicotine replacement therapy, and it's not working for me. In fact, many times I would find myself chewing a piece of nicotine gum while hitting my vape at the same time. And here I am being told by my doctor that, this is how you quit. And I'm reading online studies from nicotine replacement therapy products like Nicorette saying that it has a super high success rate. And for me, it's not working. So now I'm like, okay, this was my only option. It's failed me. And a lot of other people have succeeded, so I must be screwed. And my flaw there was thinking that I only had one option. And once I thought I messed that up, I thought it was over, which turned out not to be true. So there's a lot of options when it comes to quitting vaping. Option number one, which is a lot of what my company helps people with, is getting into the right mindset and quitting cold turkey, just stopping. But you can't do that unless you go into it with the right mentality. And in the addiction recovery space, this is referred to as self-recovery or quitting on your own. And I recommend approaching self-recovery that's guided by YouTube videos, podcasts, and online forums where you can get educated information on quitting and the mindset surrounding it. Now, I did this largely through reading various different types of books. My favorite book is by Alan Carr, The Easy Way to Quit Vaping. I put a link to this and everything else I talk about in the video description. He also has a book called The Easy Way to Quit Smoking. This book really focuses on the mindset necessary to quit vaping or to quit smoking. Now, my favorite book and one that I would recommend to everyone is called The Freedom Model, Escaping the Trap of Addiction and Addiction Recovery. It's an excellent book that really sets you up to quit whatever it is. Cigarettes, vapes, alcohol, it doesn't really matter the drug, but these books can help you out. And that's how I discovered a path of self-recovery. YouTube videos, podcasts, and reading books on the topic to help me quit. That's ultimately what worked for me. Option number two, nicotine replacement therapy products. Gums, patches, they have mints, they have breath strips, like little thin strips that you put on your tongue that dissolve. They have sprays. There's toothpicks. The world of nicotine replacement therapy, there are tons of options within that space. And when I was quitting nicotine, because Nicorette gum failed for me, nicotine gum failed, I was under the impression that nicotine replacement and therapy wasn't going to work for me. And that simply wasn't true. There was many options. Our personal favorite for people is actually the nicotine patch. I find that that works great for most individuals using it, depending on, how much nicotine you were consuming throughout the day, yada, yada, yada. There's maybe a few nuances with it, but even in the space of nicotine replacement therapy, there's options. And just because one option doesn't work, doesn't mean the other one won't work for you better, okay? So here's the neat thing. You can take each of these options, and I have a few more that I'm going to discuss with you, and you can combine them. So it doesn't hurt to read a book like The Freedom Model or Alan Carr's Easy Way to Quit Vaping, and to combine that with, let's say, nicotine replacement therapy, because having the right mindset's never going to hurt. So that's an option, nicotine replacement therapy. Option number 3, a medication-assisted quit. This is typically where you're working with your doctor, and they're prescribing you some type of dopamine-stimulating substance. This could be Wellbutrin. They might use Chantix, which kind of blocks the effects of nicotine and makes you sick when you consume it. Not my personal favorite, but it's an option for people. Maybe it's anti-anxiety meds. Maybe it's antidepressants. Medication-assisted quits, although not a path that I chose to go down, are an option for people. So if you're struggling to quit doing something that you no longer want to be doing anymore, that's actively taking away from your quality of life, a medication-assisted quit, and I would talk to your doctor about having a plan of coming off of that medication eventually, right? I think that's important. If you're not looking to, trade the vape for an antidepressant or the vape for Wellbutrin or something like that, I think having a plan is a good idea to come off of the medication. But medication-assisted quits are a very reasonable option when it comes to quitting smoking or quitting vaping. Another option is working with community groups. There's great apps out there like the Jones app. There's also the Quit Vaping app. The Jones app is connected to the nicotine mints made by Jones. I have no affiliation to the company. In fact, they're kind of like my competition in a weird way. I'll explain why later. But that's a reasonable option for you. And they have great communities of people who all have a similar goal in mind, and that's quitting. And oftentimes with a community, you can find accountability, and that's what you get. A lot of times people go about quitting vaping on their own, and they have no accountability. And it's very, very hard to remain accountable to ourselves. So putting yourself in a group of people that can help to hold you accountable, whether it's through an app, on a forum, a Facebook group, a Discord group, there's groups everywhere when it comes to this stuff. It makes quitting easier when you can be accountable, and oftentimes when you're finding that community support. So we have quitting cold turkey through self-guided recovery. We have nicotine replacement therapy and the several different options of NRT under that the second option. We have medication-assisted quits. We have accountability or community support-assisted quits. And then last but certainly not least, we have supplement-assisted quits. There's excellent supplements out there on the market today that I can't say have been proven to help people quit, but anecdotally, they definitely help people. KSM 66 ashwagandha for helping to manage stress and anxiety after quitting. It's been shown to help with sleep. It's been shown to help with recovery. It's been shown to help with depression. You can combine KSM 66 ashwagandha with NAC, N-acetylcysteine, a supplement that in early literature has been shown to reduce cravings for sugar, cravings for nicotine, cravings for cannabis, cravings for alcohol. And I think this is a great thing for anyone quitting vaping, because we don't necessarily want to put down a vape and pick up a can of beer. We don't want to put down a vape and pick up a bunch of sugary sweets and develop diabetes. So N-acetylcysteine is a great supplement. Now, personally, I make a chewing gum product. You can find it at kickitrevolution.com, Kickit revolution.com. It's nicotine-free, cannabis-free, stimulant-free chewing gum that contains KSM 66 ashwagandha and N-acetylcysteine. We also connect it to a community forum of people who are all quitting. Now, those are options. You also have supplements like alpha GPC or Huperenzyme A, which are actually kind of similar to KSM 66 and how they stimulate similar pathways in the body to nicotine without the harmful side effects, especially when it comes to like focus and that relaxation effect and short-term memory enhancement that people experience from using nicotine products. There's supplements that can help you out. So you have self-recovery guided through books, podcasts, and online information. You have supplement-based recovery where you're using supplements to aid in your journey of quitting. You have nicotine replacement therapy options. You have medication-assisted quits. And then you have your final option of working with a professional. This could be a therapist or someone who specializes in nicotine addiction, or someone like myself, an addiction recovery coach who has a focus or emphasis on nicotine addiction and recovery from nicotine addiction. Working with someone who's potentially been through it before or who has a really good understanding of what that individual is going through can go a really long way. It's like getting the blueprint for the answer for the outcome versus trying to go at it blindly on your own. That also helps to provide a certain degree of accountability. So if you're sitting here today and you're struggling to quit vaping, I think you need to ask yourself, have you tried and have you sought out all these various options when it comes to quitting? And if the answer is no, if you were like me and you've just been doing the same thing again and again and again and failing again and again and again, I want you to break out of this mindset of feeling optionless and feeling hopeless. The reality is, for a lot of people, they just haven't yet explored all the options. And the chances of one of those paths working for you are super high, because there's literally thousands, if not millions, of people that quit using nicotine products successfully every single year. It might just look a little different how we all accomplish that. If you need help, follow me right down into the pinned comment where I got a free ebook on how to quit vaping and how to quit smoking, or just hit me up in the playlist right up here on how to quit vaping. I got tons of videos on the topic when it comes to the development of the mindset necessary to quit. Until next time.